for those of us who have spent a lifetime of forcing ourselves and pushing through and masking who we are and adapting and judging ourselves, I have felt on the brink of that burnout, of something screaming inside of me to stop, to just please stop. It feels like I've been in that state for decades. This fight or flight, this survival, this pushing through, and every day willing myself to do more and to keep going with a lot of effort. Is that like for neurodivergent people, I think that burnout is a state that we're on the edge of for most of our lives. And I think that with the awareness, at some point, the parts of us that have been ignored and shut down all our lives, with our awareness, we are giving them permission to speak up. And I think it's almost inevitable, that's how I feel, that at some point they were going to be loud enough and make the decision to say no more. Now that you know better, we require of you that you hear us, care for us, be present to us, and start aligning your life to the truth of who you are. And that's how I'm seeing this burnout. Hey beautiful, how are you doing today? So as I mentioned in previous videos, I am in a burnout. My brain has stopped doing what I usually require it to do. It has gone on strike and is saying no more. And it's quite a fascinating thing to observe because it kind of blows my mind how it's just not working as it used to at all. So there's something though that I want to bring up for anybody else that's going through that right now. This idea of a burnout, this reality of a burnout, of not just being in absolute brain exhaustion, the brain refusing to do what it used to be able to do, and just like independent of our will, our desires, motivation, necessities, it just like says no. But in my dialogue and inner monologue and talking to other people, I keep saying that I do nothing with my days. Mosquitoes. And I do go hiking in the morning. I start before sunrise because it's getting very hot here, and I allow this beautiful nature to care for me as I do something good for myself that I can be proud of and feel good about that I did for myself, even if I do nothing for the rest of the day. And here's the thing, it's the doing nothing that I want to address today. Of saying that when we're in a burnout and if we're laying supine for most of the day, I know that I keep saying, I do nothing, I do nothing, I do nothing. Even if I'm at peace with it, because I recognize what's happening, that there's just something that has been overused, overdone, and it's okay. But that idea of doing nothing, that language of saying I'm doing nothing or that you're doing nothing has to change, because there is actually so much being done. When we do nothing, we are allowing. We're allowing our bodies to recuperate, to heal. We're allowing our brains to heal, to readjust, to realign, to find its harmony, to do all the things it needs to do. It's just that it's not on a will, ego, have to, mind decision, conscious decision level that it's happening. But we are not doing nothing. We are allowing a ton of stuff to happen. So there is a lot being done as we are not accomplishing the things that our society, our mind, our personalities, our egos think that we should be doing. But we really have to, it's a really good thing to change that language. And if we spend a lot of time lying down, doing nothing, watching TV, not thinking, just sleeping, whatever, if we tell ourselves and be present to the idea that we are allowing and that there is just a lot happening, not of our conscious choice. I feel it when I tell myself that. I kind of smile. It's allowing the wisdom of the body. It's allowing God, life, source to do its thing while we are letting go and surrendering our control. So that's what I want to suggest to you. If you are unable to be active and productive in the ways that you think you are because you have too much anxiety, you're in a burnout, just know that it's not what's happening. And I want to say, I mentioned it the other day, but I really feel that for neurodivergent people, for those of us who have spent a lifetime of forcing ourselves and pushing through and masking who we are and adapting and judging ourselves and not allowing ourselves to find, and it's not by fault, right? It's because we were raised in a culture, in a society that does not recognize our different perception and functioning and processing of things, and do not help us to find the role the roles and purpose that we were actually created to have on the planet. But it is, I think some people have commented, and I know I have felt on the brink of that burnout, of something screaming inside of me to stop, to just please stop. It feels like I've been in that state for decades. This fight or flight, this survival, this pushing through, and every day willing myself to do more and to keep going with a lot of effort. Like life has been efforting, not effortless. And wow, where was I going with this? Losing my train of thought here. I think what I wanted to get to is that for neurodivergent people who have denied, ignored, masked, adapt, didn't know, we're not educated, we're not supported, we're not encouraged, we're not helped to find and live as our true nature. I think that burnout is a state that we're on the edge of for most of our lives, and that at some point, for some of us, and maybe it comes at a point for me, and I mentioned it before, but it's worth repeating. It's been a few years now that I'm realizing my neurodivergence and that I am understanding how I function and my nature, my true nature, more and more. And in the past maybe year, I've been looking even more into the autism spectrum and all these things, and just all over neurodivergent, ADHD, HSP, autistic, all these things. And my awareness almost daily has been showing me part after part after part, behavior after behavior after behavior. It's like excavating and, removing dirt and layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of understanding all the ways that I damaged myself. And I think that with the awareness, at some point, the parts of us that have been ignored and shut down all our lives, with our awareness, we are giving them permission to speak up. And I think it's almost inevitable, that's how I feel, that at some point they were going to be loud enough and make the decision to say no more. Now that you know better, we require of you that you hear us, care for us, be present to us, and start aligning your life to the truth of who you are. And that's how I'm seeing this burnout. And that's why it is not, what's the word? It's not devastating me, even if I am doing very little consciously, and I'm unable to function in all the ways that I used to. I am allowing this because I'm kind of understanding it. And I'm saying, okay. I speak to myself a lot, and it's like, okay, I hear you. When I'm irritated, and it's strange, my emotions are like I'm releasing all kinds of things, and they'll show up, emotions will show up out of nowhere, of anger, of irritation, of grumpiness, of a little bit of joy, of release, of exhaustion, of questioning, and they're all coming up. And I see like it's all the parts of me that are showing up, speaking up, and saying, this is me, hear me. And then another one, this is me, hear me. This is me, hear me. And whatever comes up, I say, okay, you're allowed to speak up. I'm here. I'm listening. I understand. And I love you. And we're going to be okay because now I hear you. So a lot is happening. If you're in a burnout, if you're exhausted, and you find and you think and you say that you're doing nothing, know that you are not doing nothing. We are not doing nothing. We might be doing the most important work of our lives, or the most important work of our lives might be getting done unto us as we take the moment of this breakdown to allow things to happen and to give up a little bit of our control. So that's my burnout message for today. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.